Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Oh, ah, oh my goodness. Before I even try to say a word, I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath and smell the smell of rain. If you are anywhere in Puerto Vallarta, you woke up this morning, if all goes well, and you smell the rain. I smelled the rain this morning, and it smelled wonderful. Anyhow, good morning, everyone. This is Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at all kinds of news, hopefully mostly good, from our city, from our state, and our country. We take a look at all your comments and questions, hopefully mostly good. And then we combine all this information to hopefully have a more connected life here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English speaking locals. I am smiling a lot because I got a very, very good infusion of love and positive vibes last night from close friends, including Gina, who I saw saying hello earlier today. Hello, Gina. I'll make our announcement in the second half of the broadcast. But first, as always, it is a pleasure to welcome you all. And today is Thursday, June 2nd, and we have all kinds of interesting news. But first, if you are new to the broadcast, please feel free to let us know by adding the word new to your comment, and it'll be a pleasure to give you a nice little welcome. If you're watching later on YouTube, we love you. We love you very much. We don't have live commenting on YouTube, but we still very much appreciate your thumbs up and the fact that you subscribe to our channel. And of course, if you have something truly important that you wish to bring up to our broadcast, please add a capital letter Q, and we will be looking for those during the second half of today's show. So let us get started. Let's start with the fact that we celebrated the Day of the Marines yesterday. Authorities from our municipal, state, and federal government came together yesterday in Puerto Vallarta to celebrate the Day of the Marine, including, of course, Mayor Michel and Governor Alfaro, seen here happy as a clam. Aside from a maritime parade that was visible from the Malecon, authorities went on board the Godines, which is a Navy boat, a Navy vessel, to commemorate those Marines who lost their battle at sea with a floral arrangement. I'm going to say arrangement because the other word, the one that starts with the W, I don't know if it's a wreath or a wreath, but it was a flower arrangement. It was deposited in the ocean, and I say deposited, not thrown, because saying that they threw it in the ocean sounds tacky to me. I don't know what the actual word you would use to describe when you deposit flowers in the ocean, but what do I know? While in town, Governor Alfaro took the opportunity to announce that criminal activity in Puerto Vallarta has decreased by 27.1% when compared to statistics from 4 years ago, and also referenced the security strategy that is presently being implemented throughout the state as the reason why this is happening. Governor Alfaro added that the increase in tourism and economic activity as the effects of the pandemic has decreased has also contributed to these improved numbers. But even so, he said, there is still much work to be done in Puerto Vallarta and throughout the state when it comes to matters related to security. A feasibility study is presently underway to consider allowing ATM buses to make regular stops just as local buses do to improve mobility from Puerto Vallarta to Banderas Bay and points beyond. Here's a little bit of context so that you know. ATM stands for Autotransportes Medina, and this is the interstate bus line that makes only limited stops in our city, but extends their route or takes passengers beyond our city and into the state of Nayarit. It is the only public bus line that does that. And due to competitive laws that I don't claim to understand, they are presently not allowed to compete with our public's own city bus system and make more stops within Puerto Vallarta, because this would become unfair competition. However, these changes that are being proposed would allow the ATM buses to make more stops throughout the city, so that more people can move about more efficiently. However, none of this will happen for at least 2 months while representatives from both companies continue to analyze their logistics and their numbers. I bumped into a reaction article about the new federal prohibition of vapors and electronic cigarettes and all those chingaderas. The article, which was published yesterday, on the same day that the announcement was made, states that vaping shops in Guadalajara had no clue that vapors are now illegal and continued selling the products. Well, duh, what do you expect? Most of Mexico doesn't read the news. Actually, I shouldn't say that because then you'll give me shit for generalizing. But a lot of people are not as diligent as following local news as we are. And of course, if I was a vapor shop or if I sold vapor products in my store, I would not just remove them because I read something on the paper. I would continue trying to get rid of them while I have them. And only until inspectors came to my store and told me something to that effect would I say, whoops, I didn't know, sorry, won't do it again. So that's the way it goes. Now, it is now June, and of course, it is the time of year in which the numbers dwindle when it comes to cruise ship arrivals in Puerto Vallarta. And of course, now they are at their lowest. This month, there will only be 4 arrivals, all of which will be made by the Carnival Panorama. And curiously enough, there are no arrivals scheduled by the much heralded Vidanta Elegant, which is supposed to now go from Puerto Vallarta to Mazatlan on a regular basis, or so they say. It won't be until the month of September that the cruise activity in Mexico's Pacific Riviera will increase again, and it is expected that Puerto Vallarta will conclude 2022 with as many as 200 additional arrivals, bringing us to the same numbers, the same arrival numbers as we had back in 2019. Now, I have a question for you. Does anybody know anything about this itty bitty little restaurant that popped up out of nowhere along the Rio Quale? I've seen a couple of photographs of it, and every time I see its picture, the B-52's Love Shack comes to mind. Anyhow, the new restaurant bar has raised eyebrows among nearby residents because it was built on federal land and it was brought up to the attention of Puerto Vallarta City Council. And as we know, all things related to federal land, such as the Rio Quale, is handled by Semarnat, or our National Resources Secretary, and not by the municipality. Hold on just a second. Ah, that was a good cough. Thank you. So apparently, this makeshift restaurant has a special concession. See, there are the council members busy saying, well, what's up with this shack, this little love shack? Apparently, they have a special concession that was granted by Semarnat that allows them to exist, much to the chagrin of our administration and much to the chagrin of nearby residents. Mayor Michel did apparently asked the reglamentos or permits department to look into the matter. And speaking of our lovely mayor, critics are once again going at it because apparently 2 days ago, after the formal celebration of Puerto Vallarta's anniversary as a city and as a municipality, and once the party began, Mayor Michel vanished, just as he did during Christmas when he inaugurated his much lauded Christmas village on the Malecon, only to hop on the first plane to spend the holidays with his family in Isla Mujeres, where all the seaweed is located. Whether he means to do it or not, Mayor Michel has sent apparently a clear message that he is not that keen on local celebrations, or maybe just like me, he likes to go to bed early. But look at what happens to me when I decide to go out late night and have some fun. I end up doing live broadcasts sideways. More on that and other news, of course, after the weather break. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry about that. Let's see what we have with our weather. Hold on just a second. I bet you're just checking the weather because you're not sure what to do with yourself now that the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial is over. Well, isn't that funny? I'm not going to even comment on that. It is 24 degrees right now. Feels like 27. Humidity, because it drizzled, of course, is up at 88%. So you can count them on a humid day today. And of course, our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees presently is 75. Our weather forecast for today, oh my goodness. Many frogs in my throat today. Our weather forecast is humid and partly cloudy for today with a high of 28 and a low of 22. Tomorrow, Friday, it'll be again humid and mostly cloudy with a high of 29 and a low of 22. And of course, on Saturday, a humid and partly cloudy day with a high of 30 and a low of 21. It's time to hit the pool. It's time to hit the air-conditioned spaces. It's time to, well, enjoy the weather because it's here to stay. Now, moving right along, what do we have? Oh, yes, this is just a matter of interest to me and maybe a matter of interest to you. A couple of viewers forwarded me this beautiful architectural rendering or video rendering of a new bus terminal in Puerto Vallarta that was produced by the architectural school of the University of Guadalajara. And I looked at it. It is almost 4 minutes long, and it looks absolutely beautiful to look at. But given the fact that there have been no announcements of a new terminal being built, it is hard to tell whether this beautiful rendering is indeed a new project that we just haven't heard of, or whether it is just a thesis submitted by students as part of their school requirements, or what. There are no details available on the video, and again, I have not seen anything published to the effect that we will have a new bus terminal in the city. But it is pretty to look at, that's for sure. If you want to take a look at it, I will include it in the show notes. Now, why not go to Cancun? Well, Mother Nature is playing unkind tricks on our Caribbean beach destinations with now close to 19,000 tons of seaweed deposited along the beach throughout the state of Quintana Roo alone. And this is a number that is higher than in previous years, according to reports that I have read. This is absolutely unfortunate for anyone that lives from tourism in the Caribbean, in Mexico's Caribbean. It's just sad. because you want to go to the beach, you want to go to Cancun, and it is very difficult to do it with all that seaweed hanging around. The last headline before I share a little bit of an account of my night last night and a special announcement for our LGBTQ plus viewers is the fact that Puerto Vallarta is getting ready to celebrate World Bicycle Day this coming Friday. Oh, that will be tomorrow. With a recreational ride from Puerto Vallarta to Banderas Bay. The event is being organized by our Citizens Council on Mobility, and its goal is to promote the use of bicycles to get around in an ecologically sound way. I also read elsewhere that the Via Recreativa or Recreational Bicycle Ride Day, which used to take place along Francisco Medina Asensio, may be instituted again in our city, but not along Medina Asensio. Instead, it would go now to certain streets and avenues within Fluvial. Tomorrow's ride will begin at Marina Vallarta's whale sculpture at 6 p.m., continue until Valle Dorado, and back. And now, before I dive into your comments and questions, let me tell you a little bit of what went on last night, and I will share a happy announcement for the LGBTQ plus cluster. I had mentioned to Gina 2 days ago that I wanted to try some of her boozy cocktails, her boozy, not cocktails, her boozy slushies, her boozy frappes. And that's exactly what happened. But the way it went is I got done with my chores. It was late in the evening, around 8 o'clock. And I figured, okay, before I go over and enjoy some kind of boozy dessert, I'm going to take a puff or four. So I was slightly high when I got to Whiskey Kitchen. And that's okay because it is okay. And I get there, and Gina was out for dinner, and she was going to arrive later, so I figured I'm going to hang out and wait for her. But I didn't want to get a cocktail until I was certain that she was going to come back and that I was going to be able to enjoy my boozy thing, because I didn't want to drink a beer, and I didn't want it to clash with. Anyhow, while I was sitting there were handsome gentlemen sitting here and there of the local kind, and I figured, oh, how nice. This almost feels like gay night. And then all of a sudden a dear friend of mine that happens to be gay showed up, and we started conversing, and then two other friends that are a gay couple showed up, and all of a sudden I felt, well, maybe this idea that we had discussed not too long ago of having an LGBTQ gathering for us locals at Whiskey Kitchen should materialize. Long story short, while we were there, eventually Gina did arrive, and she did prepare her delicious boozy slushy or frappe, which I enjoyed. And please make a note, do not ever attempt to do a live broadcast while under the influence, because your live broadcast will come out sideways. But the good news is that I have partnered with Gina, or rather, I have volunteered my promotional support to share news about something that you are going to be the first to find out. Thursday, June 16, from 6 to 9 p.m. at Whiskey Kitchen Versalles, we will enjoy the very first LGBTQ plus night. It'll be a meet and greet, a chance for us locals that are not necessarily drawn to the bar scene to hang out and talk to one another, and just have a comfortable, safe environment where we can socialize, we can have conversations, maybe enjoy a cocktail, maybe enjoy a meal. How frequently will these happen will largely depend will depend on demand, on whether people show up, whether people not show up. But I was very, very keen on the fact that Gina was completely enthusiastic about the idea. And she, like myself, want to create a welcoming environment, come and meet your neighbor kind of experience, rather than go into an LGBTQ place and be surrounded by a lot of people that may or may not be here by the end of the week. Nothing wrong against gay tourists, but For us locals, it is nice to know that there is a space where we can give it a go and hopefully have a nice way to expand our social circle. Again, this is the first, oh, here it is. This is the first announcement that we will make. And needless to say, I will get busy working with Gina in the next few days to get more formal announcements made so that we can share them in social media. In the meantime, it would be much appreciated if you would help us spread the word and, of course, put this in your calendar if you are in town and would like to join. It is not exclusively for LGBTQ folk. It's simply for a place for us to feel comfortable and, of course, to welcome other friends of the community. And now let's take a quick look at your comments, starting with all these wonderful good mornings. Karen says, love the live last night. I know that I was tilted, but it was fun. Let's see. Sherry says that ad-lib broadcast last night was fun and a treat. Well, I'm not all that good at being spontaneous. Clearly, well, I won't get technical, but before you start a Facebook Live using the Facebook app, you need to make sure that your phone is in the position in which you want to transmit or broadcast, rather. I started setting it up this way, and by the time I put it this way, we ended up sideways. Hopefully, it will never happen again. But that's exactly what happened. Karen reports lluviecita en Díaz Ordaz. Yes, I woke up this morning to find that the sidewalk was wet. Did I have too much fun last night? Never too much, but I had plenty. But more importantly, Christy, I got a good dose of friendship, of love, and of fellowship. And for reasons that are not relevant, it was exactly what I needed. Thank you very much for asking. Ramona says, how are you feeling today? Well, we were rather exuberant last night. It's not so much that I was so tipsy, although I did have 3 glasses of wine. But no, we had a good time. We had a good time. And the frappe was absolutely delicious. Let's see. Oh, thank you very much, Doug. Laid in the ocean. Laid in the ocean. See, that's the word that I was looking for, because thrown seemed just too ordinary. And thank you for that, Ed. Wreath. Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. I have read the word many times. I don't think I've used it that many, but it's very much appreciated. Thank you. Let's see. Da 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 da. Do 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 do. There's a question here. If more stops are allowed for the ATM bus and the local bus won't get their 10 pesos to pick up and drop off at Walmart. So yes, the local bus would lose that fare. Just one more way to keep fucking people over and get more money for the state of that art bus system we have now. Okay, I kind of see what you are saying, Michael. Again, I'm not an expert in economics, and I don't begin to understand why our current bus company does not put into operation all the buses that they say they have. And I'm much less equipped to understand why on earth we would have to come up with special deals with Autobuses Medina. Again, just a messenger here. Hopefully we'll get some more clarity in the next few months. Ronald says that's a lot of weed. Yes, that's a lot of weed. Luis asks without a Q, any word on where and when they will giving the Pfizer booster shots? Trust me, Luis, if you've been around enough, you know that if I had an answer for you, I would have included it in the broadcast. I have not seen anything published with specifics, but when we do, this will be the place, hopefully, where we will give you all the details. Where is the road they are closing on Sundays for bikes, pedestrians, skateboarders, etc.? Doug, as I announced previously, some roads in Fluvial are being considered, but I have not seen yet enough information that confirms this, nor have I seen the when. It has not been announced. La 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 la. Let's see. Question. Do you use a stabilizer when you're videoing a walk? That's a good question. There's a built-in stabilization function within the camera itself, the Insta360 camera that I use. So that takes care of things for me. And this is pretty much oh my God, my throat is just full of frogs today. That comes from so much laughing last night. This brings us to the end of our broadcast for today. Again, I know that this little announcement is not pretty or glamorous, but this just happened last night. You are the first to find out. I hope many people will attend. I hope we'll get a chance to get to know each other better. And I hope you'll have a good day. I hope it rains more. I hope it rains more. So this is what we have. We'll be back tomorrow to wrap this week full of broadcasts. And between now and then, I wish for you a happy day, boozy day, a safe day, and I wish for you to stay connected, stay in touch, and enjoy each other. Have a good day.